It's member-supported Hawaii Public Radio and all things considered. I'm Dave Lawrence, and having a lot of fun with a band that we had on the show. I think it was May when these cats were last on, and then we just had them on the phone. Black Uhuru, back in the islands, and one of my favorite reggae bands. And I've got a voice that brings a lot of people happiness, and a guy who's got a good attitude when it comes to music. He realizes the roots of reggae have a lot to do with a good message, a positive message, a healthy one. It's Andrew Bees, and welcome. Thank you for doing the phoner you did with me the other day, and thanks for taking some time in the middle of the show.
Yes, I roots up, you don't know, so we have to come represent and be a part of everything that is positive and with humanity and love and prosperity every time, That's what we stand for every time.
Waterhouse, when you were a kid growing up, and I'm thinking about, because it's radio, if you can, try to describe it in visual terms, but paint a picture. And the reason I say that is because the band has a strong connection there. It's where Ducky's from, it's where you're from.
Yeah, growing up in Waterhouse, Waterhouse come like a legacy within music, because in Waterhouse, you have like King Tubby's and you have King Jammies, plus you have a lot of Arab music, such as artists like Dan Carlos, Michael Rose, Jonah Reid, Hugh Munde, Lasty Castell, Half Pint, Wayne Smith, King Everall. They have so many, artists that come up in Waterhouse, like create a dynamic in Waterhouse, make Waterhouse look like a Motown,
Is King Tubby's, let me explain. I know King Tubby and King Jammy are both guys who are like heavy producer guys. Did they have like clubs where they were doing this at? Like, is when you say King Jammies, King Tubby's, was it like a location where they were doing stuff like that you could go and hang out at?
Yes, because at first there was King Tubby's. And King Jammies now usually be Prince Jammies. As much as I was a youth, that was I knew King Jammies was Prince Jammies. And then King Tubby's was the man. So everyone know King Tubby's usually have a sound named King Tubby's Hi-Fi. Seeing, and a lot of people all over the place, usually come to Waterhouse, come for the dance. And King Jammies now usually be the engineer for King Tubby's. So I saw the whole foundation grow up till Prince Jammy now becomes King Jammy. So you have King Jammy now and you have King Tubby. And the legacy just keep going on. And with that, it's just a history within Waterhouse we create,
When let's dial all the way back to when you were a little boy, and the earliest time when you were a little kid that you can remember starting to have a connection to any kind of music.
Well, differently, I grew up in a household where, my house was like the first, church, first school, first post office, first clinic, in Waterhouse. So my lineage of growing up in Waterhouse is really a rich legacy, which growing up within that legacy, man like Jonah Reid, Lasty Castell, and Hugh Mundell, Half Pint, Wayne Smith is a man we always there around, Such one like I leave Dan Carlos, Michael Rose passed through, and growing up there, it really was like a Motown. Everywhere you go, it was just sport, art, and music and literature, and people was full enjoying themselves and just feeling right, despite of the politics was going on and the negative and violence. We use music and bring certain amount of love and passion to the people, which every youth was really feeling it. And there wasn't so much killing and brutality and brutal, ways of seeing things. So one time in Waterhouse was great, it was so powerful that it was like a Motown, People just come into Waterhouse like it's a factory, Yes, I.
Because you're saying it was a real creative place with so many different people who had talent, and so a lot of people would come both to probably play with them, but also to as fans, is what you're saying.
As fans too, and coming out to make a headway in start, like coming to studio, come see King Jammies, coming to studio to see King Tubby's, and it was a rich legacy in Waterhouse, and we respect for know that we come from a place which create that legacy, and now within that time now there comes Black Uhuru, with Ducky and Gatti and Dan, and they are the founder who create that.
You remember when you first knew of Black Uhuru?
Yes, as a youth growing up in Waterhouse, seeing the whole foundation, hearing about it, and no say, well, King Jammy's produced, I Love King Selassie, and that was like, an anthem in Waterhouse, and it was so great, and Black Hole, everybody has say yes, this mega group now will come, and it was like a very, very, very great storm where just come blow and just full of positiveness and energy, and with a lot of people behind it, and reaching out, lot of Rasta youth and lot of hopeful youth too. So everything was just hopeful and bright, powerful and strong.
How old are you, Andrew?
Well, differently, I would have say, well as the creation, but differently within reality, I is 5 years old.
45.
Yes.
Okay, so we're close. I'm 46. I was trying to do the math on like where you were as this music evolved, because the neat thing about you and I is it was only a little bit before we were born, that reggae started.
Exactly. So you see, say we born, we create in it, and we grew up in it, and be a part of it from in the 70s, because that was like the highlight of the music.
Did you know Ducky before? So by the time you knew of Ducky, he was already an established musician. But did you know him before you joined the band?
Yes, because as a youth growing up, Ducky was always a Waterhouse man, and he was like, a really, empire within Waterhouse, because he's a man where the only man from Waterhouse who have a legacy even right now, where the world, take on to beloved, go through so much different lead singer and still have the group going as Black Hole, you know what I mean? So, we really respect within, and from a youth we know so well, the man that was really, a man of,
He's a survivor.
He's a survivor. That's the word. He's a survivor, because, him grow things and like a farmer, seed from it small and keep it till it becomes a tree that growing,
And that's very hard, because what you're also saying is like there's just so many musicians, and the amount of them that can keep a career going for that kind of length is what you're talking about, is something to be respected.
Yes, it's something that you got to respect, because it's not everyone can do it. Because right now in Jamaica, it's like you hardly find any group right now that have that amount of, journey going. Right. Not saying you don't have group like Third World, Mighty Diamonds, and Israel Vibration, and couple more, but, within certain changes where Black Hole make, there is no group in Jamaica that make those changes and still keeping hot on the street and keeping to the youth and the whole roots and the foundation and the groundation and everything just positive and strong and hopeful and bright,
That message of hopeful and bright. When you listen to reggae through the years, and I know dancehall is not quite reggae, but it's kind of reggae. It's a form of reggae. It's something that came out of reggae. The musical message, when you say hopeful and bright, there have been different kinds of messages through the years, but the thing that Black Uhuru, Bob, the Roots guys from the past, there was this both sticking up for people who were oppressed, talking about freedom, talking about love, consciousness. When did it occur to you that you really connected with that message? Because it's got to come from the heart, and I could hear it on the phone the other day with you. It's not something, you can't fake it.
No, you can't fake. You can't go to the shop or to the store and go buy, right. Goodness and uprightness and love. You have to really want to be a part of that. Cherish it every day as the day goes by, and, respect it and respect people, because within people, there's the power. The voice of the people is the voice of the Almighty. So first you have to really respect the people, and the love of the people will just take you like the sea wherever you want to go.
Did your parents have anything to do with shaping you to be this kind of kind, considerate person?
Yes, because my old man now, my father was like a patriarch in our Waterhouse. He was the man who behind everything, He was like, the man who had the first youth club. As I can say, my family was the first people who have a clinic in Waterhouse, the first post office, and all of that. So my old man come from that lineage, and he's the first man who did have like a youth group named Penwood Progressive, and out of that youth group now, youth club, it usually produce so much talented people, people where
not just music.
So it's art, literature, and music and sports. That was him emphasis. And within that, a lot of youth come out to come become so great in sport, come so great in literature, and come so great within music and art, you know. So he was like a patriarch who always, give to the community within love as a Rasta man. And, teach youth them how to develop within a self-reliance aspect of life, you know.
It's such an important thing these days. The reason I bring it up, I don't have to tell you, the world is like, I mean, things are so crazy right now. You don't even know if the world's going to make it, you know? So there's just so much negativity. So I just wanted to highlight it because I think it's something I love about your music, and I think it's an important message to try to remind people is out there. And as a final note before I let you go, are there any causes, concerns that you hold near and dear to your heart? Like, I'll give you an example. Like, my mom had multiple sclerosis, so I really try to look out for disabled people because of that. I love animals, so I'm really concerned about the rhinos and the elephants being poached. And so I'm just curious, is there a disease, a cause, anything that's close to your heart that touches you?
Well, differently, I love people. Because I man is a humanitarian, I definitely love people. I love the passion of people, like to see them move, and they talk and everything what people do. I appreciate love it. So my greatest emphasis and reaching out is people, plants, and animals, and you can't go wrong with that.
I love it. It's Andrew Bees. He's got a great attitude, and if more people had that kind of attitude, I think the world would be a safer place to be in. And God bless you. I really appreciate it. I hope this was not a hassle.
Yes, I just roots up on humanitarian love, overstanding, and let's live together because we are all people, and the plants and the animal, they look up towards us for guide them every time. A tree, we plant a tree and it grow within fertile soil and it bear fruit within due season, An animal, it look towards mankind for really help them and take care of them. And we as mankind, we grow up to take care of each other. We take care of the sick,
It's an obligation, really.
Yes. So we obligate to take care of the sick and nourish the elders and grow up the youth them so them can become prosperous, and have a bright career and character within themselves. So, them can come up and be a part of this, this whole creation powers and know so well. One and help each other. So that's it, we just have to just keep helping each other. And that's it. We are the world.
I love the message. Andrew, thank you so much, brother.
Roots rock, roots up.
Good man.